Okay, so Michael, let's talk about your book for a minute. What's the big positions that you are most confident talking about here that our audience should hear about?
Yeah, so just to understand your investors how I or your viewers how I invest, I have about 30 to 35 positions in my book. I take a private equity venture capital type approach. I'll deploy 1% of my capital on an initial check. I try to own 5 to 20% of the company on that initial check. And I'll write, 5 to 7 subsequent checks as the company evolves in a positive way as they grow. And so, I love all my children, but in general, what I'm looking for are companies that have potential to go from a discovery all the way to a producing asset or a takeout. That's how I make money. I don't trade my stocks. I don't get around drill results. I don't, day to day really care what the market's doing. I want to see real value creation for the companies I'm involved in. And I've been fortunate to have several companies go up, 20, 30, 50, 60 times and be acquired by large mining companies. That's my business model. So at any point in time, there's companies, different parts of the risk curve, depending on what your viewers are looking for. Maybe just made a discovery, companies entering into a resource expansion, PEA, PFS. The farther along the Lassonde curve you go, the less risk there is from an upside downside, but the less pure upside. I'd say a few companies that are really interesting to me right now is Astra Exploration. It's a company in Argentina which is doing a lot of right things to really accelerate mining development. Very high grade gold silver deposit, previously believed to be a small kind of shallow 300,000 open pit kind of oxide type deposit. And now the current management team, since they acquired, have shown it's actually much, much larger, like tripled the strike and found 4 parallel veins, now showing potential for 1 to 2 million ounces of high grade, very shallow open pit material. But the real story, and you mentioned Peter Moroni, has a lot of experience in Latin America, but Cerro Negro is a 10 million ounce deposit owned by Newmont. This deposit has very similar geologic attributes to Cerro Negro. Shallow, million ounces surface. Cerro Negro was exciting, but not that exciting, and they realized all the veins converged at depth, and that's where they found the 10 million ounce mother lode. This is a company that's at about a 60 to 80 million dollar Canadian market cap. Huge success of the drill, but I own 17% of the company. Peter Moroni is a shareholder. They've got some really good cornerstone shareholders in the company. And they're drilling these deeper 250-meter targets now. It started about a couple of weeks. That could really crack the story wide open. Stocks trade at the same price where I did a financing several months ago, despite significant drill results and significant expansions resource in the short term.